I'd like to call the special meeting of the Council of the Town of Grand Bay-Westfield on March 31st, 2026 to order at 7 o'clock p.m. We respectfully acknowledge that Grand Bay-Westfield exists on the traditional Woolstook Way land. The lands of Wabanaki people are recognized in a series of peace and friendship treaties to establish an ongoing relationship of peace, friendship, and mutual respect between equal nations. The river that runs by our town is known as Woolstook, along which lives Woolstook Way, the people of the beautiful and bountiful river. We, the staff and elected representatives, pay respect to the elders, past and present, and descendants of this land. Record of attendance, we have regrets from Councillor Day, and Councillor Balcom is with us, but he is attending virtually. Item 5 is agenda approval. The motion is that the Council of the Town of Grand Bay-Westfield approve the agenda for the special meeting of March 31st, 2026. Do I have a mover? Thank you, Councillor Bowman. Do I have a second? Councillor Burkey, thank you very much. Any questions or comments on the motion? There being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? That motion is carried, thank you. Item 6, disclosure of conflict of interest. Are there any? Seeing none, we'll move on to item 7, public hearings, presentations, delegations, petitions. 7.1, audit presentation, and we have Nick Malatestinik from Curry and Betts here with us tonight. Welcome, Nick. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
And I will turn the floor over to you for the audit presentation.
You want me?
What's the best?
Either one actually works with the camera.
Oh, very
Okay,
good.
so you're welcome to do whichever one is most comfortable for you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, fellow councillors, and staff of the Town of Grand Bay-Westfield. I am happy to report once again that the town has, we have completed the audit of the financial statements for the year ended December 31st, 2025, and we have issued what we would regard as a clean audit report stating that the financial statements present fairly in all material respects the operations and financial position of the town of Grand Bay-Westfield for the year ended December 31st, 2025. That said, just in the course of the year, as a result of the ability to access funding, which was not readily apparent that the town would get in 2025, the town was able to generate a operating surplus of $481,372 in the general fund, and in the sewer fund, a surplus of $56,097.
That's great news. And so with that, I will open the floor to questions from council on the audit as presented in your kit. Councillor McIntosh Lawrence.
So as you know, in 2025 we switched accounting systems. Can you just talk a little bit about the pros and cons of you know how you felt about it, if it was easier for you to do your job, if there was any negatives?
Well, from our point of view, as a user of financial information from the town, the benefits of the new system became immediately apparent just in the simple fact that any request for information was the fastest that we've had in the history of audit. Also, I think the flexibility of the system allowed for a lot of preparation work on the part of the town staff that enabled them to transfer information, more information and better information to us, which in turn reduced the amount of, legwork, for want of a better term, that we had to do in order to complete the audit.
That answer your question, Councillor?
Thank you.
Deputy Mayor Toole?
Is that kind of a two-part? The first part is wondering if there's any issues you found that we should be aware of, and also the second part on any recommendations for improvements that we found.
In terms of any highlighting areas to address, there were none. The only issue that we have run into in the past is in the accumulation of general operating reserves, but it is my understanding it's never been raised as an issue outside of the audit stuff. So,
Thank you. John?
I just wanted to build on the auditor's comments.
Council approved a resolution for UNB that the current GNB threshold of 5% is insufficient. We didn't make a recommendation how much it should be. Ours, if I recall correctly, is just under 10%, I believe, which in some respects, excuse me, is still insufficient.
Thank you.
But we've kept the auditor apprised of that we felt it was insufficient and of council's resolution to UNB.
Thank you.
It's a recommendation that is so better.
And I echo what John had said, that we share that same belief, is that 5% threshold that currently exists is inadequate.
Thank you. Councillor.
So thank you for your report. It's quite detailed and there's a lot of information in there. Considering the increasing cost of everything moving forward, would you say the town is fair shape, or are we
I think
stable?
I believe so. I mean, one of the things that the town has proven in the past year is the ability to access funds where you didn't think you were going to get them before, and that is the single largest reason that the town was able to have the surplus this year.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor McIntosh Lawrence?
So in line with that, I'm assuming you haven't observed any patterns of under budgeting or over budgeting?
Patterns?
Yeah.
Not as well. I mean, nothing out of the ordinary. I mean, if you took the anomalies in spending, a lot of times there are one-offs that you wouldn't have from year to year. The budget is actually fairly break even. If you took those unexpected grant monies that were received during the year out of the picture, the budget is essentially balanced.
Councillor Bellman?
How did our CFO do with his, for the budget, how did he do? Our CFO, how did he make out, like, within budget to you? For the audit?
Oh, in terms of qualitative?
Yeah.
Like I said, I mean, I think the work that was done to manage costs enabled you to be essentially have a balanced budget up until you were able to I guess realize the extra funds from federal and provincial grants that were received in the year. So in that respect, I think as part of the budgeting process, you recognize if you're going to have a shortfall in one area, you try to make up for it in other areas, and that's exactly what the town has done.
Councillor Balcom, do you have any questions specifically? I don't know if I thought I saw your hand up, but maybe I was mistaken. Oh, you're on mute, Councillor, I'm sorry.
Still can't.
Hello,
Oh, there we go, we can hear
can
you
you hear
now.
me okay?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, just one quick question. In the performance of your duties, did you notice any incidents at all of non-compliance with respect to legislation, regulations, or municipal policies?
None other than the note highlighted with respect to the general operating reserve. That would have been the extent of it. Otherwise, everything was perfectly good.
Great to hear, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. I do have a quick question. I know we touched on the operational reserves a little bit, but a lot of our residents always question, why do you have so much in each reserve account, whether it's in the storage reserve or the capital reserve, etc. In terms of the reserves that we have and our stated reserve goals, how do we fit in terms of what we have and where we're going for a municipality of our size?
Well, in terms of the reserves, the necessity to have a reserve for the general operations, and once again, we're not beating up too heavily on the 5% versus what I think should be 10%. All you have to have is another COVID, and you find out how quickly that 5 or 10% reserve evaporates. On the capital side, I think as long as your reserves reflect, and once again, you have the you have the ability now to generate more and better information through the improvements in the financial systems. You have the tools there to provide for even better capital planning over the next 5 to 10 years. And I think as long as your reserve growth mirrors the cash requirements in order to fund those capital improvements, I think you're in good shape. And as I was discussed previously with some people, especially with regards to improvements and maintaining infrastructure, those are critical issues across the province, and as well for the town.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions from the group before I move to the motion? Okay, seeing none. The motion is that the Council of the Town of Grand Bay-Westfield approve the Town of Grand Bay-Westfield audit report and consolidated financial statements as at December 31st, 2025, as prepared by Curry and Betts, and forward to the province of New Brunswick for approval. And that the Town of Grand Bay-Westfield Council appoint Curry and Betts as the town's auditor for the fiscal year 2026. Do I have a mover? Deputy Mayor Toole, thank you, and that Councillor Bellmans is the second. And before I ask for additional questions or comments or votes, I just wanted to see if the CEO and CFO had anything they wanted to add.
Before I turn it over to the CFO, Your Worship, I just want to thank the auditor, Nick, for the great audit. And I think it's a great reflection on the team that we have here. The team has been through a lot last year with implementing a new system, transferring all the data with integrity, and then the numerous hours of training. So I just want to compliment James, our CFO, on the great work that he did last year, and that includes the assistant treasurer and our admin assistant at the front who greets everybody when they come in to pay their bills. So thank you, James, for the great work.
Thank you, John. Council, so the result of the audit is not just a neat little bundled document with a whole bunch of numbers in it. It really is an external check on the processes and procedures that the finance department follows. We have to make sure that they're in accordance with regulations, legislation, and our internal processes. The fact that there was no adjusting entries identified speaks to the high level of accuracy and diligence that the finance team took every day in 2025. Added in the complication of changing accounting systems mid-year, this makes this feat even more remarkable. Just to give you some perspective of the volume of transactions that went through the system, we had over 2,500 accounts payable invoices. We processed payroll payments for 1,500 payments, or payroll checks, or EFTs now. We generated 1,500 sewer invoices, and when you generate sewer invoices, it also generates payments to receive. So not only did we generate the invoices, but we collected over 1,500 payments. So I'd just like to take this opportunity to thank Council for providing us with the tools to do our jobs efficiently, and to, as John mentioned, the Assistant Treasurer Hannah Chen and our Admin Assistant Alison McAlpine for the work they do each day.
Thank you, James, thank you, John. Any further comments or questions from Council? Sorry, Councillor Urphy and then Councillor Delsby.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just one more question. You had mentioned the grant money that the town was able to access. So moving forward into 2026, we all know that that's not guaranteed money. That's highly competitive money that exists out there, and everybody's kind of after it. So moving forward, should we not get that? Is there anything that we should kind of shift focus on or pay attention to? What would our standing be? Like, it's pretty close. If we didn't have grant money, we'd be running on skin of our teeth kind of thing. Just.
But I think somewhat dovetailing to what James had said earlier, is that the improvements in the financial system actually will free up time and resources to actually, for want of a better term, better chase that money that is not a given at the time you're doing budgets. Also, my understanding is the province has recognized the need for pumping more money down to the municipalities in order to maintain their infrastructure, as well as to help with the transition of the administrative burden which the province has pushed down to the municipalities through the regional service commissions. So I mean, there's been money that's pushed down as a result of that, since the province is no longer, is kind of stepping back from a lot of those functions.
If I could just elaborate on the auditor's comments. I think it was back in 21, when we were developing our first budget as a group, made the recommendation that we budget to have the work done, and that we would apply for grants, and if we receive grants, those monies would be directed to reserves because we're facing a number of fiscal constraints. It's that type of policy, though it's not written, that's kind of led to this surplus. Further, council has been very good to work with. I just want to compliment council that you recognized our needs. We've allocated a small amount every year for grant writing. We've never used the full line item. And to the best of my knowledge, since we've had that line item, we haven't received one grant that was written as part of that. But that province has since picked that up. That's that CHIF, the Canadian Housing Infrastructure Fund. The province has picked it up, so it's still undetermined. And then also, we have 2 new people on board in the Community Development and Recreation Department that are very good at grant writing. So our capacity to identify and pursue grants has been significantly increased, not to mention that the line item that we have for grant writing is for engineering services, which we don't have that expertise to complete some of those grants. So back to your comment, Councillor, we decided back in 21 that we would always fund the projects in whole. They would not be conditional on receiving grants, and then the grant money would be dedicated towards reserves to help address that issue.
Makes sense. Thank you, John.
I thank James, our CFO, what a great job he did, and appreciate that.
Thank you. And I will also compliment the team. We obviously have a highly competent team here, and we really appreciate that. We're seeing the results here with an audit like the one that was presented to us here tonight. So I appreciate all of the work that goes into it, and also the recognition that we do need to invest in things like the new financial system, which leads to better outcomes and better visibility into the town's finances. So compliments to the team, and thank you to our auditor as well. Thank you. So with that, all in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded?
Aye.
Thank you, Councillor. That motion is carried. Thank you very much. And that moves us on to the next item, which is item 8, adjournment. And so the motion is the council of the town of Grand Bay-Westfield adjourn the meeting at 7:19 p.m. I have a mover for that, Councillor McIntosh Lawrence, second Councillor Bowmans. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.